What's up, everybody? Gerard here. This is 3T Podcast Live presenting you our Wrestle Kingdom 15 review. This is a very extravagant 2-night special that New Japan put on. To me, this is the second most important wrestling show of the year for professional wrestling outside of WrestleMania. So that's where I put this on. And I thought they put on a pretty good show. The good, obviously, Kota Ibushi winning both nights. The bad, I was not a fan of the whole Battle Royale concept. The ugly, the participants for the King of Pro Wrestling Fatal 4-Way, outside of Yano, really aren't focal points of the roster. And I feel like when you have a Wrestle Kingdom level show, you should be highlighting your Minoru Suzuki's, your Ishii's, your shows of the world. Especially Show. Show had a pretty good showing. Like that one, right? Throughout the year, and I feel like they kind of those guys to the side for that. Now for the matches, we're going to be going our Broken Tables review. One broken table being the worst possible match you could have. Well, you could give shards and all that. And 5 being the best. You could also break the Broken Table scale, similar to how Uncle Dave's Star Scale gets broken. So let's jump into it with our Night 1 review, the Bat. As I mentioned, this was my bad for the good, bad, and the ugly of the show. 1.25 broken tables. It is what it is. Battle Royales sometimes don't really mesh well with me. And this one was more of the same. I guess the concept of having the 4 guys at the end just stand there at the end. Like, oh, okay, we made it. We'll wrestle tomorrow. Didn't sit well with me. Obviously, Suzuki and Ishii and those kind of guys being eliminated early on really didn't make this seem important. No, let's get over with that one, right? I wasn't a fan of that one. Arguably the worst match of the weekend, for sure. Now, the main card opened up with Hiromu Takahashi, the Best Super Juniors winner, versus our Super J Cup winner, El Fantasmo, who's making his one-on-one debut at Wrestle Kingdom as well. He had a really good showing. I think he has a lot of promise. I liked a lot of the callbacks to former Bullet Club members, including trolling the Kenny Omega Rise of the Terminator spot. I thought that was freaking hilarious, especially because a lot of audience think he's just going to show up randomly in Japan, even though he has a match on Wednesday. But that's beside the point. This match, I'm going to give it 3.25 broken tables. Hiromu Takahashi wins with a Hurricanrana roll-ups type of move. I liked it. I think Hiromu is the ace of the junior division, and the amount of merchandise he sells, you guys had to really be delusional. Think he was losing in the opening match of Wrestle Kingdom. It's not happening. Hiromu wins. He advances to night 2, which we'll be getting into then shortly. Now, second match of the evening was the IWGP Tag Team Championships. The Dangerous Tekkers, Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. versus the Bullet Club representative, Gorillas of Destiny, who had a lot of curses to break in 2020. One, they weren't on a lot of shows in 2020. In NJPW Strong in America, they were, but not in Japan. They never won the Tag League. They broke that curse. And then they broke their second curse on night 1 when they won the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships at Wrestle Kingdom. Their first actual win at Wrestle Kingdom as a tag unit. Also, their record-breaking 7th IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. I love this match. This is one of the better tag title matches in Wrestle Kingdom in recent memory for me. Most of the time, I kind of just sit and just think through it or skip these matches. Because, I mean, their tag divisions are pretty solid, but a lot of it felt repetitive. This was a fresh matchup to me. And coming off the Tag League match that they had, there's a lot of buzz for this one. Right Team won, setting history and breaking curses. This is their franchise team. This adds more with Taichi, where he got hit with the Iron Claw. That's going to be very interesting going forward to see how they regain that back. I like this match. 3.5 broken tables. Right there, we were starting off with 2 pretty good matches to start off the show. And this was a tone that got set throughout the show pretty much. It was... Night 1 I thought was stronger, by the way. Night 1 was definitely stronger. Tanahashi versus the Great Okarn was next. Tanahashi's kind of been relegated to the... He's not on the bottom of the card, but he's slipping down the card. Will it be like 2-3 years ago where he beat Jay White, who was coming out of a excursion similar to the Great Okarn, and then he rose up the card the next year? Possibly. You know, especially with Ibushi winning, I think there is a story to be told with Tanahashi versus Kota Ibushi for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And that's why I think he did beat Great O'Karn for that reason, is because he's going to be contending for one of the big championships in the next year. So when you want him to be contending for those big championships, he has to get big championship level wins. And that's exactly what he did here. Great O'Karn looked great for his Wrestle Kingdom debut. The gimmick is, it doesn't catch on with Western fans as much. It's more tied to Japanese culture, I believe, and Japanese movie culture. I believe it's based off a 1985 vampire movie in Japan. I mean, this is just some Reddit research that I did on the gimmick because I was trying to understand it more. But he looked pretty good. We'll see how he develops in the next 2 to 3 years, because Jay White in year 1 and him were very similar coming out of Excursion. And it ended up working out well for Jay White right at the end of the day. So Great O'Karn is someone they obviously see a lot in. They give him the Tanahashi match coming in. Tanahashi looked great. He's obviously physically limited right now due to knee injuries and of that sort, but he still put on a great performance. He's still the ace. Tanahashi wins. Now we're going into the co-main event of the evening. Actually, I'm going to give it 3 broken tables for that one. A pretty solid match. We'll see more of both of them, I think, throughout the year. I don't think that feud is done. Now, we're getting into the co-main event featuring another member of the Empire, the leader of the Empire, the Commonwealth Kingpin, Will Ospreay, with a new theme song. And the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. By the way, he brought the Rainmaker back. I've been waiting for this moment. The Rainmaker's been gone since effectively January of last year, of 2020, or February. He just hasn't used it. He's been using the money clip. I think it's universally not accepted by the audience when you have such an amazing finisher already. Okada and Ospreay had an absolutely phenomenal match. 5 broken tables. Definitely go back and check this one out. Match of the year contender early already. That's absolutely wonderful. The last 5 minutes of that match were absolutely very compelling television. Okada brings back the Rainmaker to defeat his former Chaos brother. Excellent storytelling. Okada wins. The Rainmaker's back. Watch out, rest of the roster for 2021. Now in the main event of the evening of night 1, Tetsuya Naito versus Kota Ibushi. I did say this on Instagram, and I'm going to have to go back and watch it. Might be one of my favorite matches I've ever watched. Kota Ibushi wins the IWGP Heavyweight and IC Championships. He finally gets over the hump and becomes God. Well, starts to become God. With one step. Absolutely amazing match. You could tell both guys were having fun. There was bits and pieces where both guys were smiling and laughing throughout. Wasn't as dangerous as they thought it was. I thought the MSG encounter was a lot more reckless. This one was a little bit more tame. But wow, what an amazing match. 5 broken tables for me. Actually, 5.25 broken tables. We'll break the scale for this because the moment of my bias of Kota Ibushi winning the championships is worth it. Now we jump into night 2. Toru Yano retains or wins 2021 King of Pro Wrestling. The match is a 1.25 broken tables to me. None of those 4 guys, maybe outside of Yano and Bushi during the junior tournaments, is really entertaining. I don't think this was Wrestle Kingdom worthy, to be honest. I think this was totally skippable. Second match of the evening, you had 1 and 8, I think is what they're calling, Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Wato versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado. Representing the Suzuki-gun here, Junior Tag Team Championship match. Pretty decent encounter. I'm not saying this is a garbage match. I'm going to give this 2 broken tables. I never really believed that Wato and Taguchi were going to win the Junior Tag titles, to be honest. I think, especially after Despi's Best of Super Junior match with Hiromu Takahashi, there was 0 chance I thought they were losing that one. Pretty skippable if you're just trying to cut through the pay-per-view and watch certain matches, you could skip through that one. Now the second match, or the third match of night 2, was Shingo Takagi the Dragon in his singles debut at the Tokyo Dome versus Jeff Cobb, Jeff Cobb finally showed up in New Japan. This is his best New Japan match ever, in my opinion. He looked very strong. You know, he's an Olympian, and he needed to join the Empire, in my opinion, to really elevate his game. He looked aggressive, as he should be aggressive. He's an Olympian badass. Just let him throw people around. Shingo Takagi, wow. Might be the best wrestler in the world. He's definitely in the conversation. I've never seen a bad Shingo Takagi match. This is going to be 4.25 broken tables for me. Sleeper match of the weekend for a lot of people. Definitely go check this out. The physicality, especially with some of the lariats and stuff, was absolutely violent. That's what happens when you have the Never Openweight Championship, and the Never Openweight Champion is still the Dragon, Shingo Takagi. Now we're looking at the co-main event. This one was much more historically standing for a co-main event. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship co-main event at Wrestle Kingdom. Congrats to Takahashi and Ishimori. They made history. For me, there's going to be 3.5 broken tables. I liked it. I thought it was pretty solid. My only concern is that there was never a doubt in my mind that Takahashi was going to lose this match. And I think when you could suspend the doubt of who's winning, and you kind of figure, like, okay, Hiromu's winning, it's historically speaking, they're not going to have the outsider, Ishimori. You know, he's in Bullet Club, but they mentioned he grew up out of the system. He was never in New Japan's dojo system for an extended period of time. He grew his craft outside of New Japan in Japan. Say that a million times fast. Takahashi's the dojo guy. He was in the Liger's retirement match. It was not a shred of my mind that thought he was going to lose. Fun match, though. A very technically sound match. A lot of high spots, which is very much Hiromu Takahashi. He wins with Time Bomb 2. 3.5 broken tables. I loved it. And now in the main event of the evening, to decide it all, the Switchblade Jay White in his first Tokyo Dome main event versus Kota Ibushi in his his third Tokyo Dome main event, if you include night one from last year. I love this match. This is 5 broken tables. Kota Ibushi retained in a 45-plus minute match. It's set on more history here. Longest match in Tokyo Dome history, I believe, at least from New Japan. Incredible stuff. Jay White played a masterclass heel, essentially. Like, he understands what he's doing. Kota Ibushi might be the best babyface in wrestling right now in terms of getting an audience behind him and the audience needing to see him win. The commentating team, by the way, Kevin Kelly, Chris Charlton, and Rocky Romero, if I could give them, they got 5 broken tables throughout both nights. They really set the tone. And if you don't watch the product, you understood what was going on because of those 3. So bravo to you guys. You guys did a fantastic job. This match really picked up once Ibushi's switch hit and he's got more angry. He even hit the Phoenix Splash. Gato did his thing, interfering. Red Shoes Uno, once again, another great job refereeing. Phenomenal match. 5 broken tables. The Golden Star has now become the Golden God. The Golden God, Kota Ibushi, has now made probably more history than essentially anybody in New Japan at this point in terms of big moments. He's won multiple G1s, 3 back-to-back finals, back-to-back-to-back finals actually, back-to-back-to-back Tokyo Dome main events. He has 3 under his belt. He's the first guy to win the double championship and defend it the next night. It's just absolutely unreal, the run that he's on, and the emotion from the fans, including myself and the announcers, and Kota Ibushi really sold the moment. Congrats, Kota, you deserve it. That's all for our Wrestle Kingdom 15 review. If you want to listen to the 3T podcast, check us out on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, Podbean, and iHeartRadio. Support the crew, cop the merch at ProWrestlingTees.com. Follow us on Instagram at Through the Table iStrongStyle, on Twitter at 3TPod, on Facebook at Through the Table, and TikTok. All that below. It's in the link below. Let's look at it. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys. And until next time, this is Gerard from the 3T Crew signing off.